death, taxes, and Pakistan losing from a seemingly unlosable position. Against the United States, they were defending 12 off 3 balls. They lost. Today against India, they were 80 for 3 off 14 overs, chasing 120. They only required 40 off 36 balls. That's a win probability of 93%, and they lost again. The difference? Jasprit Bumrah. He bowled that 15th over and changed the game like he always does. 3 runs were conceded. He took the wicket of Rizwan, and not only that, in his first spell, he picks up Babar. In his last over, Pakistan needed 21 off 12. Pakistan had a win probability of 64%. I'm not going to lie, that's a touch generous, but that's neither here nor there. 3 runs were conceded in the penultimate over and a wicket. Now Pakistan need 18 off 6. Game over. He is the break in case of emergency player. You can use him at the start, through the middle, at the death. It does not matter. He always delivers. 3 for 14 off his 4. What a player. Pakistan had that game under control when India were bowled out for 119. The 4-pronged seam attack of Amir, Shaheen, Naseem and Ralph took 9 for 94 off 15 overs. I did say at the halfway point that 120 would be the highest chase at this ground. It says more about the ground than anything, but again, that's neither here nor there. But with Pakistan's
money
history,
where your mouth was too.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, we walked away with 2050, which I'm pretty happy with.
Very similar to my lotto winnings on the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
20 into 23. Thanks, mate.
20 to 23. Wow. I walked away with 500 last week, which was actually very nice. So, obviously, I wasn't going to win.
Probably puts you to even lifetime, does it?
And some.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 120. Pakistan's history, India's attack, you knew they were going to make that hard. They managed to get to 72 for 2, 80 for 3, and really, they should have won it from there. But again, Jasprit Bumrah was the difference.
The crowd goes wild when you need a wicket. Jasprit Bumrah delivers.
Oh, that is brilliant. It's a hero maximum. On the ground, down the ground, another hero maximum.
This is The Good, the Bad, and the Land of the Free, brought to you by Maximum Cricket. My name is Matt Hunter, or Munter, if you will. I am joined by my co-host, Jackson Latham, or Jacko. This show is about wrapping up all the action in the T20 World Cup into a bite-sized show. We bring you all the good and the bad. Pakistan, New Zealand, England. On today's show, we want to take stock of the group standings. Who's a lock to make the Super 8s, who's gone, and who can still make it, and what they need to do. This is brought to you by Domino's Pizza, who has kindly agreed to join TMC for the rest of the World Cup. Domino's are introducing the all-new Philly cheesesteak pizza for only $13. Jacko, we discussed all-time foods in a chat earlier today. You could have from a different country, and there was a very clear top 2, and there was daylight in between 2 and 3. I'm not sure if it's a Hollywood thing, but Philly cheesesteaks and deep dish Chicago pizzas have been marketed as essentially the greatest foods on this planet. I really want to have them both. And what does Domino's do? They go, how about we combine them for only $13? Jacko, I haven't had the pleasure of tucking in just yet, but I will. What were your thoughts for the listeners on that outstanding combo?
Yeah, I mean, full discretion, I only sort of managed to have them melt so far, which is sort of it's a thin and crispy pizza folded in half with the fillings on the inside. Brilliant. Are we talking brilliant? Great flavours, bit of steak, your cheese, your melted cheese. I mean, sensational from Domino's. I mean, they've got the value range. They've got your Mr. Wedges. They've got your bacon cheeseburgers. And just yet again, they don't miss. Yeah, very happy to have them on board because I'm a big connoisseur regardless. Yeah, long-time user, first-time sponsor. So happy to have them on board. We'll be going back regardless. But yeah, the Philly cheesesteak at 13 is exceptional. You don't want to look past that for your treat night this week for your takeaways.
Sickening stuff. And Domino's, they're on that echelon of your McDonald's, your Coca-Colas, your Nikes. They are sort of like top of the line for your pizzas. They always deliver. They don't make mistakes, and we're just pretty excited to have them on board.
Stepped up their hot chips too recently. Got some with the melt actually, and yeah, crispy, well seasoned, very good.
Righto, Jacko, before we get into the group standings and who can still qualify for the Super 8, I would love your thoughts on cricket's Super Bowl. India versus Pakistan at New York, 35,000 people. We've got John Boy, we've got Ravi Shastri, and we've got another close finish. They've done it again, another all-time classic. India-Pakistan, what did you think of the spectacle?
Yeah, I mean, again, just we've talked about Pakistan at the G. We've talked about. I started watching the Test restart on the bus home tonight, actually.
Very good stuff.
Yeah, season 3 started very well, but I think it was Harsha Bogle said, "Wherever India play in the world, it's a home game because their fans just show up." And yeah, they've done it yet again. They've come out in force. They're loud. They bring energy. They bring atmosphere. And as you said, yet again, another close contest. Pakistan feeling a lot like our Wars for me. A lot of talent, a lot of promise, a lot of it's our year. Just a little bit more under-delivering for the fans. So, yeah, the Pakistan faithful, there's got to be some internal sort of questions being asked. After this, did it start from that coaching them on Zoom? Maybe. We'll never know. But, yeah, the proof's in the pudding so far, and they are not looking like a good cricket side at the moment, which is, head-scratching because they've got a lot of star players. They should be, and they are perennial sort of favourites pre-tournament. We always talk about if Pakistan figure it out, they could win this whole thing, and yet again we're here talking about they've missed the top 8. So, yeah.
No, I've got nothing more to add on the actual game side of thing, but because you've sort of nailed it. India, good. Pakistan should have won that. They didn't. They were dominating that game for 75% of the game. But you always had that feeling. And I did that. I put some money on when India were paying $4.50 because the inevitable was going to happen. I knew Pakistan were just going to absolutely make their way to another loss against India, and that's what happened. But one of the cool things, well, there's many cool things they added, and it could be as real as the measuring sixes, but they added another graphic to the broadcast measuring measuring the decibels of a crowd. Did you see that one? It's called the raw score. Yeah. And I don't know if it's accurate.
Was that
but
loud?
we're talking.
Here's a number.
We're talking 125 decibels, which means nothing until you add in. So apparently it's louder than a rock concert, similar to a jackhammer, very in the close vicinity. That's what we're dealing with at New York. I was pretty impressed with the crowd. It's just, it is awesome. Like, it's just, it really is.
How close are we talking to that jackhammer, by the way?
Well, yeah.
Are we talking right next to it, or are we talking?
If it was right next to it, you're probably deaf stuff. Probably not that right next to it, but
okay.
They they didn't really, on that random sort of Google chart that I found, didn't really specify the distance as such.
Yeah, right. This one here's got school dance at 105, so much louder than that.
I was wondering, would it be as loud as a school dance? And you've sort of solved that mystery, so that's good.
Answering the questions the listeners want to know here at TMC.
Yeah. Okay. Well, should we move on to who's in the hunt? Because we'll get into some more India Pakistan sort of stuff as we break it down. But as I said, this segment is called Who's in the Hunt. Basically we're about halfway through the group stage. It's a good chance to take stock after some pretty massive games, pretty sort of important games as well. The groups are starting to take shape. And if you're a New Zealand fan, a Pakistan fan, or an English fan, you may be like us here at TMC, trying to crunch the numbers, figuring out how the hell your team still qualifies. Well, let us spell it out for you the best we can. So we'll start off with Group A because that's fresh on everyone's mind, unless you were watching Scotland versus Oman at the same time. Very poor scheduling, by the way, just to have another game. Imagine if someone's like, I don't want to watch India Pakistan. I'm actually going to watch Scotland Oman. Do you mind? Like, that's rhyme. So those sort of stuff.
Can I flick over to the real cricket, please?
Yeah. Okay, so And what I'll do is I'll break down all the teams in the Group A, who they're going to play, what I think they're going to qualify, and then we'll just have discussion on, who's going to qualify, etc., etc.
India's
so
a
India,
lock, aren't they? Really?
yeah, India are a lot, but for argument's sake, they are first, 4 points. They've got USA, Canada. Winning one will probably be enough, but they're not going to lose, so they'll be fine. They'll be top. USA, they are second with 4 points. Still to play India and Ireland. I think winning one was a lock. So if they can get over Ireland, probably not India, but if they get over Ireland, now we're talking. Canada.
Just quietly.
Yeah.
India, Pakistan, that 8 runs deep. What if India throw that game? Just really knock Pakistan out.
Yeah. Wouldn't rule it out.
It would be something.
Ironically, the players like each other. I think it's just a fan. So yeah. So when you think next we talk about Pakistan, but they're actually not third. So Canada are third with 2 points. Technically, they can still make it, but they've got to play Pakistan, India. Winning, they're going to win 2. Not happening. They win 1. That's something interesting. They beat India. It's not going to happen, but that could be interesting.
Yeah.
And then we got Pakistan with a 4th for 0. Obviously, Ireland a 0 as well. Canada and Ireland to play. They beat them both well with for net run rate purposes. Ireland then needs to beat USA. Pakistan and USA would be tied on 4 points. Ireland, they got USA and Pakistan. They got to win both. Then they'll be tied with USA on 4 points. Then we've got net run rate. Who's going to qualify, Jacko? India, as you see, are a lock. I don't think they are. Actually, a little bit on India because I don't think they played that well in that game. Yeah. There was an era of like confidence. Obviously, I mentioned sort of Bumrah at the top of how good he is. How they'll just sort of like bowl their inning. He doesn't have a lot of overs anymore. It's just, when do we need a wicket? And it's like, get a wicket now. Bumrah, you're on. And it's like, okay, I'll get a wicket for you. I'll get a wicket, no worries. This was pretty much what happens.
Yeah. We said in the pre sort of not match, but pre-tournament pod that he was head and shoulders one in the world. And I think it's just starting to show, as you say, he's not, right, you've got the 1st and the 6th and the 18th and the 20th. It's actually like, right, whenever we need this game to swing back in our favour, I know you can bowl 1 over minimum, a wicket or 6 or 7 runs. And it's just, he's just class above, really. So, yeah, I mean, if they're cruising with him sort of rounding into form, they're hard to tip against at the moment.
So the second place is up for grabs. It's between USA. It's between they're all 4 teams. So, but really, I think it's USA, Pakistan have the clearest shot. USA obviously have the greatest shot because they've got more points. They've only got to win 1 game. So to repeat those sort of situations, Pakistan, they've got to beat Canada and Ireland. They've got to win well. And then they need Ireland to beat USA. And then it's all net run rate. And then for USA, if they beat Ireland, they're through. That's all they have to do. And so my gut, I think USA are just playing too well. I don't think they lose to Ireland. I think they're riding a high. I think they'll go. I don't think they'll beat. They obviously won't beat India, but I think they'll make it interesting. Let's put it that way. I think they'll give them a look, especially if it's at New York. Like that's fucking. You get 120, you win.
Here's another take for you. I don't think I don't know if we've seen the worst from Pakistan yet.
Oh, that's a take. You reckon it gets lower?
I think they've got another one in them.
I like that.
Yeah, but I mean, based off that, I can't see them genuinely losing to Canada. I can't see Canada winning another game.
I
think it's USA. I haven't actually seen where Pakistan and USA are, like where the rest of Pakistan's games are. But if they're in the States, I don't think there's enough runs in those wickets to get the net run rate up for me.
They've got, that's a good point actually. They've got Canada and New York, which is obviously a terrible wicket, and then they've got where they got. I think the other one's Florida, which I don't think they haven't played a game there yet, so I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Probably not good.
So yeah, I'm going to say USA is right there, and I think it's India and USA
Yeah, we'll lock them in.
from
We'll
Group A.
I think there's so many issues with Pakistan right now that
Yeah.
they actually played well for the most part. I do think, as well as they did bowl against India, I think a lot of that was because that it's really difficult to bat there. Like it's the ball's stopping in the wicket. You're not getting any value for your shots. It felt like Dunedin club cricket. It just generally felt like club cricket. For some reason, New York's gone, let's have MCG boundaries with the slowest outfield possible. And I'm like,
with the
why did they
worst
think that was a good
wicket of all
idea?
time.
Why did they think that was a good idea? Like, why wouldn't you just make like 50-meter boundaries, like sixes for Africa? Like, I just don't know what they were thinking. Obviously, outstanding game, but fuck, it's not that enjoyable watching guys run too.
Nah, if the wicket's going to be poor, bring the ropes in.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, USA, it's their time. I think it'd be cool if they do make Super 8. I think that really adds to the tournament. Group B, Jacko, we've got Australia. They are first on 4 points after 2 wins. They've got Scotland and Namibia. They will win both games, but probably win one. That's probably enough. Scotland are first. I forgot they won this morning. They're first with 5 points. They've played an extra game. They've only got Australia to play. They beat Australia. They're definitely in. Even if they lose to Australia, they can still go through depending on what England does. England can only match them for 5 points, and then you got to do net run rate. They had a massive win against Oman, chasing. They chased 150 in about 13 overs, which is actually quite impressive for them. So they're tracking along really good, and they arguably were in the box seat to beat England. So they're playing some really good cricket. Namibia still have a chance. They're third with 2 points. They've got Australia and England. They're going to have to beat both of them, so we'll almost lock them out. England, as I said, they are fourth with 1 point. They've got Oman and Namibia. They simply have to beat them both and beat them well. They need Scotland to lose against Australia. They will be tied with Scotland on 5 points, and hopefully they go through on net runway. Oman, they're out. So who qualifies? As you said, Australia are a lock. They are looking every bit the best team in this tournament. I think it's them and India, and no one else is close. I said before the tournament, I have Australia just a little bit above. I think they have more options. It's hard to judge the two teams because they're playing in two different conditions. Like Australia managed to get 200, and India got 200 in 2 games combined, but still have done well. So it's hard to judge how they're tracking, but they're the two best sides, and Australia are looking very ominous.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see Aussie doing anything but make this final. So they're a lock. I mean, we could probably get to them as we start to preview the Super 8 and some real pretenders versus contenders sort of later on. So lock Aussie away. The rest of this pool is Scotland versus England, and it's can Scotland put enough of a fight up against Aussie to keep their net run rate high and smoke Oman? Because England should figure it out.
Smoke them this morning.
Smoke them this morning. So, yeah, I mean, it's just going to come down to can Scotland put up enough of a fight against Aussie compared to how badly England can win their next two. So, it's going to be tight, but I think, again, we could have a big dog in each pool missing out. Because we've got Pakistan missing out in Pool A, and I think we're going to have England missing out in Pool B.
That's the two finalists of the last World Cup.
Yep.
Not making the Super 8. So I know there's been a lot of chat around there's probably too many minnows and some of the games are a bit lopsided, and I think you're going to have that, but I think this shows that there is depth. There's genuine depth to this
I think it's quite interesting as well because your Scotland's and USA's and stuff, they're used to this sort of tournament cricket because they've been playing these qualifiers and every tournament they've got to play, they're in tournament cricket mode. That's how they that's how they play their international cricket. So there's a little bit about like these guys are used to playing this sort of cricket where it's all on the line. A lot of it's must win. You've got to knock off one team to sort of establish yourself. So I mean, the big nations are only playing tournament cricket once a year, once every 2 years, and these minnows are doing it all the time based on qualifying and just getting lots of teams in the same place. So maybe there's something in that for while we're actually seeing some of these minnows and lesser teams really showing up in this early stage of the tournament because they know it's all on the line and it's how they play their cricket.
Yeah, 100%. And they're playing, like, Scotland's playing awesome cricket. Like I said, they probably could have easily won that game against England. They've sort of got over on a pretty comfortable chase against Namibia, and then they've smashed Oman. They've done everything that you could ask of them. They probably deserve to go through, unlike England, who have just not really looked like themselves. It does seem like a long time ago that they won their last tournament. Since like in this World Cup, they conceded 90 for none after a 10, and then they conceded 200 against Australia. So they're going at 10s in a tournament that's bowler heavy. Like, we're talking all-time bowler figures all year round. Uganda's getting bowled out for 30, and England can't buy a wicket. You know, Jofra's looking good, but they're just not that good. Like, I don't know what to. I don't even know if there's another level they can hit. Like, their batting is what it is. Like, it's a good all-time lineup, and I'm sure they can pile on some runs against Oman and Namibia. Maybe get over the line. But I think again with the USA, I think Scotland's just tracking too well. I don't think that they will get blasted off the park against Australia. I mean, who's to say Australia might just go, you know what? See you later, England. We might just rest a couple of players, get George Bailey back on the field.
Yeah. Shown some things in that warm-up game. Yeah, I mean, 100%. So, I think Scotland's right in the hunt there, and I think they qualify because, they'll be right up for that Australia game. Not a tip and upset, but I think that'll be a good game. And again, if that's in America and that's in one of these venues that the runs haven't been high, I think that's really going to play into this back end of this group stage a lot more than I think teams have probably thought. I think teams have probably looked and gone, right, there's 2 games in each pool that we're going to smoke sides. And the wickets just aren't conducive to that in certain places. So if you're playing in New York, you're playing in Texas and stuff, these wickets aren't up for it, and you might not actually be able to, alter your net run rate as much as you think going down the stretch when things get close. So, I think England and Scotland both in the hunt in this pool, but it's going to be very interesting.
Group C.
We're fucked.
Here we go. Afghanistan first with 4 points. They've got PNG and West Indies. They beat PNG. That's probably enough. Their net run rate is ridiculous. Like, there's no version of anyone getting better than them. I think people can tie them for points, but no one's touching that net run rate. West Indies, they're second with 4 points. They've got New Zealand, Afghanistan. They win both or just beat New Zealand. That's probably a lock. They lose to New Zealand and beat Afghanistan. It will mean we've got a 3-way tie. It'll be split on net run rate. So essentially this New Zealand-West Indies game is quite big. New Zealand. I've got Uganda and PNG are gone. They're just gone. We'll talk about them later on. There's no else to add. New Zealand last with 0 points. We've got 3 games to go. So we've got West Indies, PNG, Uganda. To win, they've got to win all 3. They've got to smash PNG and Uganda to boost their net run rate, and that's going to put them level with the West Indies, and then it's like, well, actually, level with the West Indies, assuming Afghanistan beat the West Indies. But it's that's a bad loss. That's just we could have just lost that game, and it would have been like, okay, if we got to like 120, 130, it's just a loss. These things happen. Afghanistan are a very good side. No shame to lose them. It's a shame to get bowled out for 70. I don't care who we're playing. It's a fucking shame. Like, you just shouldn't be getting bowled out for 70 odd. fuck, that was a disgrace. Just a genuine disgrace. I was going to try and keep it PC and just sort of like, oh, they could do it. They beat West Indies, but they won't. Okay? There's a good chance they fucking lose and lose poorly.
Yeah. I think my only thought from like the aftermath of that game was that would have been nice to have out of the way in the warm-up game and just get that silliness out of the way. Yeah, I mean, there's so much to unpack on New Zealand's performance. I think we had that as a can't lose. In hindsight, it probably should have been a must win. But yeah, we just kind of lost that because that is just like, and the way we lost too. I think looking at it, we've got like a 9-run net run rate swing. I think the West Indies are like 5 and we're -4. So like realistically, to get that back is huge. Like we're going to have to demo teams to get to close. So we're probably going to have to demo the West Indies too.
Our only saving grace is that the West Indies, they barely got over the line against PNG. So at the moment, the West Indies have that one big one against Uganda, and it was massive. It was quite fucking, it was pretty dominating. And we basically have to do that to Uganda, poor Uganda, if that happens. That's a rough sort of, they got to win though, so good for them. And then PNG, the same thing. So like, that could be interesting if we're just trying to absolutely demo sides, get 250, bowl them out for 40, and just see what happens, and then obviously beat the West Indies.
Yeah, watching us sort of like, try to chase 70 in 4 overs, like it's going to be entertaining because, it's back against the wall and we love the Caps and like, there's part of me that thinks they'll still pull this out and they could just smoke the West Indies. They could just demo the West Indies and roll through these other two teams. But yeah, I mean, 76 in the opening game of the World Cup against, Afghanistan are a good side, but you've got to be putting out more of a fight than that. So yeah,
I don't care if it was a fucking
hole.
I don't care if it was the golden era Australian side. Like, and you've got West Indies and you've got all-time Pakistan lining up. Like, you can't be getting bowled out for 70 odd. You just can't. I'm sorry.
Not when the other teams, not when the other team scores 160. Like,
that's right.
It wasn't in New York. Like, it wasn't in these howler of wickets. Like, it was at a venue where you could score runs. So, I suppose that's probably, the joy of having these teams as we look at some of the other polls and we go, Scotland's going to get in ahead of England because of 1 or 2 results. USA are going to be the talk of the tournament and kick Pakistan out, and that's exceptional. And then we're staring down the barrel of our pool and we're fucked, which hurts. But, the product's good until it happens to you, which is a bit of a shame. But up the Caps, we'll back the lads until we're kicked out. So be a historic way to sort of get the moniker off our back of being losing finalists to come from here and go on a great one and win it all.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes you don't get the fairy tale ending, No. Maybe this era actually was just over a few years ago. We didn't quite realise it. I think we were just hanging on. This team, they've had the heartbreak. They've had this. They were going to get the big one. And they got it in 2021. But I think the end of this run was actually that 2020 final against Australia. That was it. They were on their last legs. And since then, it's just been the slow decline of the old dogs and the management. And we've slowly got worse and worse. But we're sort of relied on experience to sort of just get up and about, sort of do well in the World Cups, make it look like we're actually not a bad side still. And, there's some good players. But I just think there's actually some good players that are not in the side. There's some good coaches around. And I think the only good thing that can come from this, and if we get smashed by the West Indies, is like a total clean out. Like Kane obviously still going to play, but just he's not captain. Steady's gone. Southey's not captain of the Test team. Let's get guys like Nathan Smith. Let's get guys like Duffy. Let's get some Sears, O'Rourke, friend of the show, and other young guys. There's some talent out there. Let's get Mitchell as captain. Let's clean house, start again, and just go again.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to be doom and gloom after one game, but it is sort of feeling that way a little bit.
But you could see it coming. Everyone could see it coming. The
Yeah.
no warm ups, no one was playing, and there
Squad
was just a
wasn't
little
together.
bit of there was that little air of like, and obviously we're not in the camp, we don't know. There was an air of like, we'll be right. We'll figure it out. It's another World Cup. We'll just figure it out. And then it was like, well, hang on, this is Afghanistan, a really good attack. These are conditions that suit them. This is the first game. They're on the incline. This could be a banana peel, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. We've had some bad days as Caps fans, and again, I think it's how big of a loss it was. Like if we got 150, if we got 140, because now we've really got some roll of the dice stuff. Like we could fall over trying to do some weird things against these smaller sides. So I'm all right with the loss because maybe Afghanistan are actually just a really good cricket team now, in conditions that suit them, which these are. But yeah, I think to lose by that much is probably what hurts. We can stand losing, but when it's by that much, and potentially writes out our tournament straight away, is tricky. And saying that, I've got us as a lock to qualify and win the whole thing. So
up the caps. Right, Group D. South Africa, they're first on 4 points. They've got Bangladesh in the pool. They win both to lock it in. They win one, they're probably through. Bangladesh, they are second on 2 points to play. They've got 3 games to go. South Africa and Netherlands in the pool. They win 2 or 3, they're probably a lock. They win one, then you got other results. Netherlands are third on 2 points. They've got Bangladesh and Sri Lanka to play. Probably have to win one, but if they win, probably have to win both, but if they win one, then other results have to go their own way. Sri Lanka fifth with 0 points. They've still got Netherlands in the pool. They've got to win both, and then they've got to have Netherlands and South Africa beat Bangladesh. Then Sri Lanka, Netherlands, and Bangladesh will all be on 4 points, and it'll be separated by net run rate. Nepal, our Domino's friends, they are out, unfortunately, for our Domino's people. And then so who will qualify? South Africa, they're a lock. They just are. They're too good. Not gonna lose. Bangladesh have the most chances. They've got 3 games, but I've got this hunch that it's going to be
lose
Netherlands.
all 3 of those.
They genuinely could. And then that Netherlands-Bangladesh game is going to be, maybe not, but that Netherlands-Bangladesh game is actually going to be massive. Like that's probably going to be the tide. I can't see Sri Lanka too many things have to go their own way to sneak in. Losing to Bangladesh hurts, so I can't see Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
I'm going to tip the Netherlands to just get it done because I think they're just a good side. They're just a good, solid side. Yeah. It's not. It's just hard to beat them. You've got to play well. They don't roll over.
Yeah, massively. Again, another test nation out of these group stages. We sort of said this was probably the pool of death. In terms of the fact you've got three test playing nations in there, in these sort of tied conditions that they really have some skills, your Sri Lanka and your Bangladeshis. But I'm the same. I just think there's something in that the second tier of international cricket teams, your Netherlands, your Scotlands, your Irelands, USA, Canada, whatnot, they just play tournament cricket all the time. And they just know how to win in tournament cricket. Another just example of this, a team like the Netherlands, similar probably to Scotland, they've got enough talent there, but they're a group that's sort of tested in winning tournaments and playing tournament cricket, as opposed to these other teams which play a lot of series. And this group stage doesn't give you any time to ease into the tournament, as we've seen with our sweet boys. It's going to be close between the Bangers and the Netherlands. As we said, I could see Bangladesh losing all 3 or winning all 3. Could be either or, genuinely. Netherlands is going to be a tough out for Bangladesh, and I think they'll beat Sri Lanka. So, yeah, South Africa are a lock, but I'm with you. I think the men in orange leave the bucket hats in the group stage and on to the Super 8 for me.
That's 2 more Test nations by the wayside.
Go on.
In that tournament.
Be a top plate tournament, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll
got
take
plate
that
Super
out.
8
We should
going.
take that out, to be fair.
Yeah, we'd be the best
New
side in
Zealand
the
took it
plate
out.
tournament.
Oh,
Might
yeah.
ring the ICC, actually. Just say,
Get
we
that
get
over the
that
line.
going.
Yeah.
We could
Domino's will
sponsor that,
fund it.
actually.
Yeah, Domino's will
we've
fund
got
it.
Domino's on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, get John Boy can cover it.
Yeah.
Come on the
Right.
show.
Let's wrap up with some good and some bad. Obviously, bit of a different sort of show, so we'll keep it brief. I had a few nominations I sent through to you, Jacko, and I couldn't split it up. Oh, actually, I will. Actually, well, I'll just do it with someone we haven't really mentioned, because I don't think we've talked about the West Indies a lot.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about Akil Hussain, who took 5 for 11 or 4. He bowled the first 4 overs against Uganda. He's probably got the best arm ball I've ever seen. Like, he's actually, it's quite weird to think of a spinner as a new ball bowler, but I can see why, because his arm ball swings. It's a genuine outswinger. Yeah. Like, he set up, I know it's Uganda, and, you know, I mean, they're all right. But, I mean, the way he set up the first wicket was a perfect sort of left armer's setup, where the first ball, he comes in, he bowls this beautiful, rips one down the side. It sort of drifts in, nips away, and he's like, "Oh, okay, it's a bit of spin here. I might have to play cross bat." So for whatever reason, the next ball, he comes in, he goes for a big reverse sweep, because he thinks, play with a spin. Obviously, that's the ball. That's the big arm ball, straight on the arm. LBW, thanks for coming. They were all 5 wickets where LBW were bowled. Ominous sort of side. And shout out Akil.
Yeah, huge. Love it. Love to see us a new ball bowler. I mean, from the list, they're plenty good. I think bowlers are starring, which we like to see early. Zampa and Cummins, exceptional for Aussie in that defence. I think Zampa, again, he'll sneak into that top wicket taker conversation for this tournament, because he's just so good as a white ball bowler. But give me the story of, and I'm gonna butcher the name, but Netravalka. Maybe the pronunciation, maybe not. Close enough.
That's why I didn't say it, because I couldn't say it.
Yeah. But I'll have it. Yeah, I mean, what do we got? Like, you played under 19s or under 17s for India, just working IT in the States, like played a bit of cricket. It's literally like some of those American movies. There'll be a movie made about this guy. This is Hollywood stuff.
It's cool.
Like, this
That's
is
cool
the
story.
rookie.
He's currently out of office.
Yeah, out of office. Sorry, at World Cup. Please contact my supervisor if you need me. So,
funny thing, he was out of office until the 18th. But he's like, well, hang on, you're going to make the Super 8s. You're going to have to ask for some more leave.
Imagine his boss was just like, nah, sorry, mate, you got to come back. Like, we need you here. I mean, this is, in terms of like what the USA wants in their sports, is they want these sort of stories. They want the Hollywood stuff. And we've got them beating Pakistan. We've got an IT worker taking 2 for 18 off 4. Like, he's on leave. Like, this is the American, what is it called? The American story, the American dream.
American dream, yeah.
Yeah, Zach Levy played. Oh, his name's gone from my head, but the supermarket worker that makes the NFL and wins the Super Bowl. Like, this is just that script written stuff. So yeah, give that to me for the good to start for the other week.
Like it.
I'll write the script
too,
actually.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not the best segue to something bad, but here we are. We've got a few options. There's some really good ones here. I've got to go Johnny Bairstow. I think he's just made an absolute clown of himself this week. He was referring to the stumping as that thing that happened, like he's a fucking Voldemort, and you can't speak of a fucking stumping. Like, come, like, bro, like it acts like it was like you've been wronged. Like, you've actually, like, this is like the worst thing any human has done to another human being. And then to top it off, he's chasing 200 and gets 7 off 13. I mean, Johnny. This is just, I mean, you've seen the test day. You haven't got up to the.
I'm honestly about 20 minutes in.
Yeah, no, we'll
But I
have to.
can't
We
wait to
might
get
have
to the
to
stumping.
we might have to do a review because it's good stuff actually, really good stuff. So Johnny, you were painted as the villain in the test, which was heavily biased towards Australian, but you not really helping yourself.
No. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough. My bad, New Zealand's fielding, New Zealand's batting, there's plenty to go on. England's bowling's not been great, but I'll just always circle back to bowlers bowling extras in the Super Over. Give me Muhammad Amir Super Over against the US.
Yeah,
9 total balls. Question marks for someone that's had to sit down from the game. Yeah.
It's not a good sign, eh?
to go, no, to go
You're on
in and bowl
probation.
extras.
It's not good.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, a 9 over super, a 9 ball super over, like it's just so hard. It's so hard when you're bowling those extras. So I know it's tricky, and I know it's the pinnacle of sport and the most pressure and all of that, but yeah, keep the ball inside the wide lines. Wonder what's easier to do, bowl a wide or bowl a no ball.
Well said. Too easy. Anything else, Jacko? Should wrap her up.
Nah, as it said, go the Caps. We romp home.
Go the Caps.
What a story.
Big Wednesday. Big Wednesday. We will be back on Thursday too for another potential post-mortem show if the Windies sort of put New Zealand out of their misery. But thanks to all the followers, thanks to Domino's, thanks to Jacko, and yeah, see you on Thursday.
Yes, big thanks, Dynamos.